Hey guys, welcome back to Hear Our Voices, where we tell stories, give resources, and change the narrative of homelessness. This is your host, Kay Did, and thank you for coming back to this week's version of Hear Our Voices. So, a really episode, right? We would love that you guys come and check us out on all our social media platforms, on our TikTok, Instagram, YouTube account. And we'll love that you grow those platforms for us. If you like to follow us, we do we give a bunch of different things on different platforms depending on where you go and look for us. So go and check it out. If you want to get any resources, everything will be down in the link tree below. Also, if you want to talk to me about any things questions you might have about homelessness or shelter or things like that, opinion on different things. If you want to see me come on to one of your events or things like that, we'd love to come and do that. Definitely go check us out on Instagram and DM me there. I love to hear from you. And sit back, relax, and go get some popcorn and enjoy yourself. Bye.
A preschool teacher, and like I have 2 year olds, 2.5 year olds, and let me tell you, my day is long.
They can be, yes.
They go all day, like
They
from
do.
drop off to pick up. But I'm so happy when my kids' parents come to pick them up and they don't want to leave. And that's a testament that, yeah, they love me, you know. It's not just the toys. They got toys at home, toys that they love.
Exactly.
So it's like, but get into this place where I could be in a restorative environment. Like when we were on the road, we had a roof over our head every night, but at the back of my mind I was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? We haven't found anywhere else yet. you know um my daughter says she didn't panic because I didn't panic. She
That's
didn't see
good.
me stressed. Like it was almost as if we were on vacation. She was like, we were in hotels and one of the hotels had an indoor pool.
Ooh.
But that I also learned just how much people love me.
Yeah.
And the ones who I thought would be there, they
Wasn't there.
showed themselves. But I needed
Mhm.
that.
Right.
People didn't understand what homelessness looks like.
That's
It's not
true.
just the person on the street with a shopping cart.
It's not.
It's the families that are couch surfing. It's the kids that are going to school with bags of clothes because they don't know where they're sleeping that night.
Right.
It's a child crying because he wants to go back to the place he stayed that had a red door.
Right.
You're like, what? And you don't know. It's about the systems, state systems being challenged. Like, because society needs to understand their role in our experiences and their role in getting us on that path to thriving, from
Right.
surviving to thriving.
Right.
Right. I talk about the fact that a lot of these nonprofits, they do so much work.
They
They're
do.
underfunded, they're
Hmm.
understaffed.
And they're
A lot of
underpaid.
staff get and they're underpaid. We want like more private companies to step into those gaps. We want certain processes streamlined. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not because you're not in crisis doesn't mean you shouldn't qualify for a DV shelter, especially if you're in family court fighting vexatious litigation.
Right. Fighting for
You're
your life,
still
basically.
in crisis.
Right.
You're not being punched, but it's a different kind of abuse. It's mental,
Mental. Yeah.
it's emotional. Like if
Hmm.
your mind's not right, how is your body going to be right to go to work
Right.
and to take care of your child and be a responsive parent and to take care of yourself?
Right.
These are the things that at a state level, we have to challenge these laws. We've come a long way. Like I didn't know, like some of these laws we've come a long way. Like
Oh, yeah.
marital rape and stuff like that wasn't legal till like the 70s. How many women got raped before that?
Exactly. Oh my God.
Like the more I learn, and then
The
it's
more you
like
get
you sit
upset.
down and you think critically. You're like, how
That thing
many
makes sense.
women had kids from coerced reproduction? Like they didn't
Right.
want to have kids, and then these kids grew up with
Mhm.
emotionally absent parents, and then in turn become nuisances to society.
Literally.
It's like a whole cycle. It's a whole, we have to change our way of thinking. And I say we because I myself, I still have certain little biases,
Right.
but I get up every day and I work on myself, and every day I get to be better or to try to be better. It's just Hochul signed that new law though, where judges who are overseeing custody cases have to be trained in DV now.
They should have been done that,
like,
though.
yeah, that's the first step, because we know about a backlog,
right.
and we know that the training is going to take time, getting it to all these different
Exactly.
parts, right? But the next time, because my ex has taken me to court, so the next time he drags me into court, like the first thing I'm going to be like, so your honor, what do you know about the dynamics of power and control? And hear what she says.
Right.
Because I went through it. My grandmother died and he refused to sign for a passport so my daughter could go to the funeral.
Oh no.
Right. And the judge refused to give it to me because she was like, oh, y'all contentious. And basically it was like, what kind of mother are you?
A funeral though?
Giving you a passport because if he needed it, you wouldn't have given it to him either. I'm like, Your Honor, I already bought the tickets and booked the Airbnb and whatever. Well, tough. I had judges talking to me like that in court.
Wow.
But that same judge,
right,
after having him stretch out this thing, having forensic psychologists come in and tell me that I can't co-parent because I'm hurt.
right.
But she did say there was no evidence of parental alienation. Right. And she did say if my child was removed from my home, it would be detrimental to her emotional and psychological.
It's true.
So, I'll take it. And the judge had to take that whole thing and, come back on her word and be like, when we settled, she said, the order says I don't need his permission to get a passport now.
That's good.
Because she realizes this person liked it. They liked the attention they got from being here. Mm-hmm. They liked having me not go to work, not being, financially stable. They liked all of that. But I am where I am. Like, Google me now. Okay, sir? It's like I'm at that stage right now.
Right.
Like you'll see what pops up. I joined Voices through the FJC, and then I ended up on the advisory council as a co-chair. But I remember you tell them, you advised me, like, don't just have these people have you put in your name, make sure.
Make sure.
Right. But like, I don't do much for them right now per se. We meet like 4 times a year, and
oh wow,
we have these meetings with the different organizations, like the heads, like from New Destiny and Sanctuary, and the elderly, sex abuse people and social workers, but New Destiny Survivor Voices Project, that's been a little bit more hands-on. Right. Really benefited. Like, I have an English degree, from Brooklyn College. We they like they're like the Ivy League of CUNY. They're very I loved it though. Like, I loved my liberal arts education, and I had good teachers while I was there. And I mentioned that my daughter was in the daycare on campus, so it was a good experience in college and whatnot. But it was really useful being at a housing narrative lab to be able to kind of learn how to craft my narrative and just to appeal to the positive aspects of homelessness or of escaping homelessness. Right. So we're working on just crafting that message and getting that message out there. Through the narrative lab, like, I met a New York Times reporter. Like I'm gonna be doing like a piece with the experiences of maybe 12 or 13 survivors, just talking about their experience with homelessness and DV. Because
Okay.
everybody's story is different.
Right.
I have this what other friend, like she immigrated here, and well, basically the plan was to take her kid and call immigration.
Mm.
When she came here, she didn't know that her partner had already filed paperwork for the child. The child was born in Trinidad, and the child came here on an American passport.
Mm.
She thought that he was going to marry her and help her out, but right now she was in the shelter. She went through, she went through it,
Right.
but then it's things like that. Now she's doing the immigration proceedings for the green card
Right.
through sanctuary, I believe. So
Sounds
it's
low.
taking the time, but
Right.
like it's like more people need to know that there is that kind of help. Like
Right.
what you had said before earlier, like it's my advocacy is really rooted in people not experiencing a lot of what I did.
Right.
Like people avoiding that trauma, that re-trauma, because I had to really, like, January 2020, I decided I wasn't going back to my job. February, I had a nervous breakdown. Like I
Wow.
fainted. I woke up in a puddle of urine, and my
Mm-mm.
PCP said it was a psychotic episode
Oh
due to
no.
stress. So it was like, even after separating from my ex with the girlfriend and whatnot, like I remember being in like music class at Brooklyn College, and they were playing these classical songs. I'm telling you, like I was dying and I still didn't cry. Like the physical pain, but when I had my forensic exam, it was 5 hours.
Oh no.
And let me tell you, certain things she said, because I wasn't raised in America, she couldn't do a certain questionnaire. And that was why my thing was so long. But it was like
Mm.
questions like, when did I lose my virginity? And what's the longest long-term relationship I've been in? And I'm like,
Oh my
this is
gosh.
so strange and invasive. But
That is.
after talking to her, though, when the dam broke, because I spoke about leaving and just the survival mode and the years, and like I cried. And this was like right before COVID.
Mm.
And that was the beginning of my healing. But I had to go through it. Like from when I was younger, my stepdad would be raging. Like he would get up on a Sunday morning and just start cussing.
Mm.
A whole day, and then like it would get physical after a while with my mom, and then I would get involved. But there was like, I
Mm-mm.
didn't know at the time. I would get up feeling, oh my God, is there gonna be a fight today? I didn't know that was anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I started dating my son's father, and then we were separated, we got to a point where like we were growing apart. I was mature and he wasn't. Like he got physical with me,
Mm.
and I didn't heal from that. I didn't acknowledge that. I called the cops. The cops came. It was a joke.
In
Like the man
Jamaica?
on the
That sound like
corner.
Jamaica though.
Yeah, it was Jamaica. I got punched in my eye, and like this one guy on the corner was like, "Hey, my friend, get a stripe."
Wow. That sound like them though. I'm not gonna lie.
It's
That sound like
normalized
it's
there.
so sad that for their society, that is just so normalized. Like they're known. I'm not saying this for every single Jamaican man. From what I know, my dad didn't hit my stepmom. From what I know, he don't hit my mom. So, but some, he was not the great father. I'm just saying. I know he didn't do that. And it's just interesting how that's really embedded in the society, and it's like a norm
Yeah,
to almost be a slave and beaten for being a
yeah.
slave. Like it's horrible.
It's just, but when my mom let me tell you, this guy would like drag me. I would be at a nail salon and he would come trying to drag me out. I'd be at a party and he would, let's go to your house. Or it was, it was just, and it was because he felt me pulling away.
Right.
And he's not able to name how he feels. So he physically, that's the only way they're taught how to express their emotions. Okay to show anger and rage, but not hurt. And that's something within not just the Jamaica community, it's a Black community. Our boys aren't told it's okay to show that you're hurt.
Right.
And so their hurt and their pain comes out in anger,
Mm-hmm.
fists hitting the women, like resenting you because they can't provide for you,
Right.
resenting you because they feel they're supposed to be the one holding you up,
Right.
and they don't know how to articulate that. It's just a whole lot of different things. And I look at him now, I look back and I'm like, I'm glad for my experiences. And then when I moved here, it's like I wanted that sense of self. That's why I even got with a Jamaican man. Like I was alone in a new country and I wanted that sense of home. But then what I learned about myself, if I'm too comfortable and I feel too secure when I just meet somebody, no.
Watch out.
No.
Oh,
This
God.
is appealing to that part of you that likes the chaos and the thrill. And if I don't like you, if you're triggering some part of me I need to work on, then you're good for me. Jobs, people, for the most part. Yeah? Because I'm approaching it with, okay, maybe it's me. It's me. I'm the problem, literally, but that comes with self-awareness. Like you have to know yourself. So I know I've been celibate almost 2 years now. Like celibate, like, and peace doesn't feel like boredom. Like I'm happy. Because happiness is something you have to cultivate too. You have to, and they say money don't bring happiness. Money makes me a little happier. I'm gonna be real.
Right.
Like I'm happy when I know where my bills gonna be paid.
Exactly.
Right? But I've survived on so little.
Right.
Like I don't worry about it. And maybe like God has been so good to me.
Right.
God has been so good to me. And to not be grateful to it, would be flying in his face.
Right.
So I give him thanks. And my religion is not me. You know what I mean? Like God accepts, and God has already forgiven me for everything, and I know that.
Right.
And I wanna, fulfill this purpose. Like I know I'm strong and I'm multi-talented. I'm not trying to bite off more than I could chew,
Right.
but I know I enjoy being with children and I love them and helping them learn about the world and growing. And I know I love talking about my story.
Right.
And helping as many people as I can get to that second place. And I have a journal here. Like I do a lot. Like I've done DV workshops, like the Warms 3-month workshop that was really good for me. And they had a PTSD workshop as well. And I did that. And it's rewarding work when a woman will come to me and say, Stephanie, you make me feel like it's possible to not be crying all the time. Right. Because I went through my phase where I was crying all the time.
Mm.
But you have to go through it.
That's true.
You have to go through it to get through it, but let me read the thing that I had found. This was October 2nd, 2022. And I said, as of today, we've been out of our apartment for 11 weeks. We're at the Hotel RL on Broadway. I'm almost 5 weeks post-op. I'm watching Sleeping with the Enemy. Julia Roberts' character has fled her abusive husband to Iowa. As the bus pulls up to her New Haven, her face lights up. And my heart hurt and my eyes teared. To be able to escape in New York with my child would be the most amazing thing in the world. I don't really want to escape New York right now anymore. I'm going to give myself a couple more years. But I remember how I was feeling in that moment. It's like freedom.
Right.
Freedom is the most important thing. And this is why I continue to do what I do. And, I hope my story wasn't all over the place, and, that the listeners got something out of it.
Yes.
And, you have a little bit more of an idea of just how DV and homelessness intersects and like the different components of it. It's a lot to condense in 2 hours,
Right.
and there's a lot more, but I do also want to, go into podcasting, but I want to showcase people who didn't stay in their relationships, because a lot of people do stay for the children's sake.
Right.
And that's not right or wrong, depending on your circumstances. Like, you have to know when it's good for you. Like, I personally didn't safety plan, and I didn't have a lot of resources, and I didn't have a lot of knowledge.
Right.
So my goal is to help people who are in certain situations, safety plan, avoid the pitfalls I fell into. As I said, the re-trauma, the re-victimization, all of that. Having my parenting weaponized in family court. Like, it's like different things. Letting people know that you have to love you.
Right.
And if you're not in a good place, you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of you. You have to, build tools to like learn emotional wellness, and like, but there are resources out there. A lot of these agencies provide counseling and therapy, and it's usually free.
Right.
So we have to be able to be willing to take that emotional risk in order to get to a place of healing as well. Another thing in our community is the silence, not talking about sex abuse, not talking about child abuse, not talking about DV. Like, we have to understand that, there's a saying at Warm that, silence hides violence. Right. And we have to talk about these things, and, shed light on the things we need to heal in our community.
Right.
Like, the world is a crazy place right now. There's so much going on, and it's like every day I get up, like, depending on what I see, I cry.
Yeah.
But I do my little part, and I try to be kind, not always nice, because sometimes, like, people pleasing and being nice gets you walked over sometimes and taken advantage of. And, so I try to be kind. I lead with that, and I just go through the day. So my podcast, I got a name. I'm going to call it I Didn't Stay for the Kids. of
Mm.
just having survivors talk about their escape and how they safety plan, whether they had community, whether they had resources, just the different ways. I don't know how
Right.
sustainable that's going to be, but a lot of people have left, and
Right.
there are a lot of stories.
Yes, there is.
So, I guess initially I could start with those 13 people who are going to give me their story for the Times article.
Right.
Those are my first 13 guests. Because if you're willing to give me the story, you should be okay with talking about a little bit of it on the podcast, right?
Right.
So, right. But it's like I'm not on anybody's timeline, too. There's also that. Like, it's one day at a time.
Right.
And I'm learning every day as I go along. I'm learning more, and I'm not being taken advantage of. Um, I learn boundaries. I learn to take care of myself. So moving forward, it's just positive vibrations, and like I'm not putting out any negativity in the atmosphere. Keep continue with therapy,
Right.
because like once you're living, you gotta have a safe space to talk about stuff, and that helps, because I feel like when I was active in my depression and in all of that, like I feel like I was unfairly burdening some people,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned to compartmentalize my stuff too. Like you have the cheerleader friend, you have the friend you could dump on, you have the friend who like trust me. Like I had to compartmentalize it, and it's great today. And I had to learn so much about myself. Like if you want a friend, you got to be a friend sometimes.
Right.
I can be a little bit closed off and anti, attachment, like my, avoidant and all of that, even in my platonic relationships,
Right.
because I've been hurt, but I feel like it's safe to say I have a nice little circle,
Right.
and I had to weed out, and I had to go through homelessness, having a broken foot. Like that was my sacrifice, losing my home. Like I didn't get a chance to really grieve a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
because I had to keep going. But this last year, being rehoused, being stable, housing is a social determinant of health. And it's a big phrase, but it basically means it's just something you need in order to live. Like,
Right.
yeah, you can't do anything else if you're not safe and stably housed. That's
I
the
want,
bottom line.
but we have come to the end of the podcast. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
guys. I hope you learned so much things. There's so much things to unpack in there. There's so much things about DV, which I didn't know we're gonna actually do that topic today, guys. So I wasn't prepared. Well, not prepared, but I know a good amount about DV, but I didn't know that's what we're going to talk about today. So I'm happy we got actually into it. You might get this in October. I'm not sure. We at this point, right now we're in March, about to be April, and we are so far ahead in filming. I'm so happy, thank God, compared to last year. So guys, thank you for participating in the podcast and either listening to it and want to be a part of it or just sharing it to a friend. I hope that you have learned about manipulation from a person that you're with. It could be a mother, it could be a father, it could be the person a lot of people can do many things to make you feel a certain way, and also making you have a baby, even if you don't really want it, just to keep you around. Think about those things. It might sound like a small thing. Having a baby is a great thing. Having a baby is a great thing, but if you're using that to make somebody just stick around because you want to keep them near you and he's still abusing on top of that, that's not a great thing. We will have New Destiny's information down below. We have had people from New Destiny come on and tell us about the program. It's an excellent program. They help you with many different things there. So if you do want to listen and hear more things about that program, you could definitely go again on the link down below. It will be listed. Either me or my person who helps me, my team who helps me with the podcast, they'll be able to plug that in for us. And if you want to be on a podcast anytime, guys, definitely DM us. If you put it on, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. On Anchor, I don't think there's any way you can put comments in. I know on Apple you can put like reviews, put some 5-star, but most times if people do have those reviews, I don't see them till way later. So it's better if you Instagram us, DM us, or put it on Twitter. And if you put it on TikTok, it's gonna get lost also. I do not check those as often. So if you go Twitter or Instagram, I will get those as soon as possible. I'm the person checking on them. The person who does the post is a different person who actually reads DMs, and the person who reads DM is me. So if you have any stories, or if you just need somebody to talk to, if you're not sure about certain things, I will help you as best as I can. If I do not have an answer, because not everybody knows everything, I will find the answer for you.
You will find
I
it.
will Google for you. I will call people up for you. I don't know everybody, but I know some people who have the tools that can help you get out of it. And systems change now and again. So it might be a change that was here last year, was not here this year. A voucher was here this year, was not there this year. So anything I can help you with, definitely I'll help you with that. Also, again, go in the resource packet down below in the link tree, because the information is there. Also, you can look. You have things for DV, we have things for housing, we have things for clothes in different categories. So if that can help you, and if you still want to talk to me, I'm always up. So definitely DM me, and I'm here to talk. If you want to call me on the not my real number, but the Instagram phone, I will answer it too. Just please, if you're a person who's not doing the great thing, don't call me. But if you're a person who really needs help or just needs somebody to talk to, please talk to me. I am
There's
down for the
also the
chat.
weirdos.
Yes, yes. Thank you
But
so much.
thank you so much for
Yes.
having me.
Thank you for being
I
on.
did not know that we would. There's just so much to talk about.
That's
I'm
true.
probably gonna have to, coordinate something in the future again to
Yes.
talk about like the other vouchers and where advocating for those come in.
Right.
Because that housing access for all one is really important. Like we're
Yes.
really, really working, hoping to get that one passed,
Yes, we
excuse
are.
me. So thanks again, Khadijah, and we'll be in touch.
Yes. Bye, guys. See you next
Bye.
time.